Hi, this is Dave from Hectors Smokehouse and welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you've been, great to see you, and if you're a returning visitor, fantastic to have you back on board. Today this is going to be a further video on the series of actually using the Weber barbecue, the Weber Kettle. The last video I talked about using a chimney starter and how to use a chimney starter. In this video I'm going to talk about indirect cooking. So what is indirect cooking? Why is it important? Why does it make a big difference to the food and to being able to do low and slow? How do you set up the actual kettle to do that? I'm going to show you a couple of ways to actually set the kettle up. I'm going to show you setting up the kettle with the actual charcoal baskets that come with the Weber Kettle. But then I'm also going to show you a product called the Slow and Sear, which gives you two different zones, a direct zone and an indirect zone. So hopefully you enjoy the video. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. This is the inside of the Weber Kettle, and as you can see in the bottom of there is just a grate at the bottom and then an air intake blade where you can actually get the air to come through and come out the chimney at the other end, or the top of the lid. What you can do is you can use different ways to cook. So these typically come with the Weber Kettle. These are charcoal baskets, small charcoal baskets. These ones are an aftermarket made of stainless steel that are bought from Amazon. But typically they actually come with a steel version of this as well. So there's an indirect way of cooking, so that's the one we're going to really concentrate on. We want to be able to cook some meats indirect, things like pork ribs, beef ribs. So those type of products you want to cook indirect, and you may even want to do indirect searing on a steak where you cook it indirect and reverse sear it by putting it onto the flames afterwards. So these charcoal baskets are fantastic for doing an indirect cook. If you was cooking direct, you may have them together, something like that. You'd fill them full of charcoal and you'd cook your steaks over the top of those. But if you're actually doing an indirect cook and doing something low and slow, you move these out to the edge, like so, and then you'd fill them with the charcoal off your charcoal basket, which I've shown you how to light on a previous video. You can also put something like a foil pan into the middle between the two lots of charcoal baskets. This foil pan can fit in the middle, and any drippings that come off the meat that you're putting on fall directly into the pan rather than into the bottom of the grill, so it keeps your grill nice and tidy. Or you can put water in there and have it as a water pan. That creates a lot of steam and actually steams your food as well as cooking your food through the barbecue. So it's really easy to set up indirect cooking. All you're doing is putting the meat away from the cooking areas. So those two are your cooking areas and this is your indirect area. So anything you don't want to cook directly over the flames, you put on the indirect area. Very, very simple to do. So if you're making sausages, again, I've cooked sausages where you put them directly over the flames and they get charred really quickly and they burn and split and they can end up being horrible burnt snags. But this way you put them in the middle, you cook them till they're just about ready and then finish them off over the direct side of the grill, over the hot side. So there's different ways of doing this. This is an indirect way which uses the actual baskets that are in there. You could also just actually pile your coals directly onto this grill at the bottom. So if you wanted to, you could actually just put your charcoal here and just pile it up. And if you pile it up on this area here, you can then cook indirect on the other side. Other people also use a process called the snake method. All you've got to do is do a search on YouTube for snake method, Weber snake method, and you'll see it. This is a way of taking charcoal and banking them up around in a big semicircle, not a full circle. Then you'll start cooking on one side, low and slow, and slowly but surely these will start to go around and it'll cook over 7 or 8 hours before it actually needs refilling again. So that's a very simple way to cook as well. Another method you can use is a product called a Slow and Sear. So this is a Slow and Sear Plus. So what you do with a Slow and Sear Plus is you put your charcoal in here when it's all lit, and if you're doing low and slow, you may just light this corner with half a dozen pieces of charcoal, and the rest of it is not lit, and slowly but surely it'll go across there if it was doing low and slow. If you want to do direct, you'd fill it up, light all of the coals, and then you could cook over the top. The other benefit of this one, it's got a reservoir in between, and in here you can put water in there. That also creates steam on the food that you're cooking, but also protects this side of the grill where you're doing your indirect cooking. So if you can imagine on here, if you just light a few coals and then let them go, you can have almost a full brisket on here. You could have 2 or 3 racks of ribs, 2 racks of beef ribs, anything you want to cook indirect, even chicken wings and things, you can cook on this side, and it's a big surface area to cook away from the direct heat. So what you've got is more convection heat. The heat's coming around and going around your food and cooking your food. So indirect cooking is very simple, but it's really tasty. It's one of the best ways to actually cook, which I highly recommend. So hopefully you understand how to do this, and what I'll do is on another video, which will be up at the top, I'll show you how to do direct setup as well. Another product you can use is called a vortex. This is a vortex. What a vortex does is you fill your charcoal basket, and in your charcoal basket you pour all of the coals into the middle, and this creates a vortex of heat. And you can use it 2 ways. You can either cook directly over it, which gets incredibly hot, and do hot and fast steaks or anything else you want to do hot and fast. Or the way we use this more often is for indirect. So we'll put chicken wings all the way around this edge, all the way around the edge, so that we can cook the chicken wings away from the direct heat so they don't burn. Especially if they've got some sort of a sauce or rub that's got a lot of sugar in, you don't want them to burn. So you can cook them around here, but you can crank the heat up. So you can have those chicken wings cooking at say 400 degrees F, but away from the direct flame so they don't actually catch and burn. So they can be around the edge, but obviously with this vortex as well, you've got the charcoal in the middle, you can cook directly over the top of it, and it's like a volcano, you know, the heat is just incredible that it gets up to. I hope you found this video useful. It's only a quick short video just to show you how to use a Weber Kettle and cooking indirect on it. I've shown you 3 or 4 different methods of how to cook, using the charcoal baskets to the edge, using the slow and sear, using the snake method, and explain that you need to look for a video on there. And also I've shown you the vortex and using the outside of the vortex area for cooking things like chicken wings. Over the next few months I'm going to do a few videos that actually show these different methods, so you'll be able to revert back to this video to see how I actually set it up in the first place. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you enjoyed this channel, please subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you again soon.